Hello, I'm Kimilia and you're watching KiniNews. Muda has been eager to join Harapan. Unfortunately, Harapan in this case is that elder in a family who is bad at texting. So now the youth-led party has been left on red, blue-ticked. Muda's biggest concern at the moment is its application to join Pakatan Harapan. Thinking about seat allocations for the forthcoming state elections is not the party's top priority. Muda President Syed Rahman said his party is still awaiting an answer from Harapan on its application to join the coalition. He said the core issue is Muda joining Harapan, which the party applied for last year, way before the 15th general election. Saddiq added that this issue needs to be solved first, and then seat allocation matters can be attended to later. Saddiq spoke to reporters after attending a forum titled Auku, What is the Ending? At UKM last night. Also present at the forum as panelists were past Youth Exco member Nazrul Nasir and political activist Farhan Khairuddin. According to Saddiq, he has met with Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim on Muda's application to join Harapan. He said he was assured by Anwar that it would be discussed by the Harapan Presidential Council. Last September, DAP Secretary General Anthony Loke confirmed that the Harapan Presidential Council has received Muda's application to become part of the coalition and said it would be discussed. However, a decision has yet to be made despite Muda sending 4 letters to the coalition seeking an answer on the matter. What's happening at the Human Resources Ministry? Whatever it is, the MACC senses are tingling because earlier today, another person was detained. The MACC has nabbed a second officer linked to Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar. This in connection with its graft probe on migrant workers hiring quota approvals. When contacted, MACC Chief Azam Baki confirmed the arrest and remand of Sivakumar's private secretary. However, Azam told Malaysia Kini that he was not sure how many days the secretary would be remanded. The woman's arrest came a day after MACC nabbed Sivakumar's senior officer at the ministry in Putrajaya. Yesterday, Sivakumar, in a brief statement, acknowledged the officer's arrest. He said he and the Human Resources Ministry will give full cooperation to the MACC where necessary. Sometimes we overspend with our money, but what happens when you overspend with other people's money, for example, taxpayers' money? An official investigation is underway after a high-ranking official at the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry allegedly overspent on cooking oil subsidies last year. The ministry's Secretary General Azman Muhammad Yusof approved the subsidy totaling about 9 million ringgit to over 20 companies, even though the quota has already been exhausted. Industry sources speaking to Malaysia Kini indicated this happened during the transition of government last year. In 2 letters cited by Malaysia Kini, Azman's office gave approval to 2 of these companies on November 21st last year. It says the government will supply the 2 companies with 150 tons of subsidized cooking oil per month for 5 years. This was pursuant to the application they made in April of that year. The letters also showed the 2 companies sharing the same address in Kuala Lumpur. For context, the 15th general election was held on November 19th last year, but Anwar Ibrahim was not sworn in as Prime Minister until November 24th. The first batch of 28 cabinet members was sworn in on December 2nd. This entailed rebranding the ministry as the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry, with Salahuddin Ayub as its minister. Sources indicated that the circumstances surrounding the cooking oil subsidy approval raised suspicions. Given its timing during the transition of power, the over-expenditure of the quota, and the 2 companies sharing the same address. Another source told Malaysia Kini that Azman had gone 5,439 tons over the quota in November last year. According to what appears to be an internal document from the ministry's officials have proposed reducing the subsidy of some companies this year to make up for the shortfall caused by the over-expenditure. Zahid is suing Dr. Mahathir, and Dr. Mahathir is suing Zahid over separate matters. Now mediation is on the table. The civil court has suggested that Deputy Prime Minister Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad explore mediation. This could be explored as part of efforts to try resolve their defamation suits against each other. Zahid's counsel Shahrul Fazli Kamarul Zaman confirmed with Malaysia Kini on the suggestion by the High Court in Kuala Lumpur over the status of the two political veterans' civil actions. Zahid is suing Mahathir over an allegation that he met Mahathir in order to get on Mahathir's good side. Mahathir is suing Zahid over the claim that the latter slandered the former's ancestry. Shahrul said that the High Court made the suggestion during case management of Zahid's civil action against Mahathir earlier today. The lawyer explained that the court had advised the two veteran politicians to refer the suits to the Mediation Center. Filed in April last year, Zahid's defamation suit was over Mahathir's remarks during a press conference in Putrajaya 2 months earlier on February 23rd. Mahathir was responding to a question on whether Zahid had met him while he was Prime Minister to discuss the latter's corruption court cases. This reportedly occurred before Mahathir took office in 2018, when he said it was clear he would become Prime Minister.
Will a past lawmaker be charged for sedition for asking controversial questions in Parliament? One thing is certain, the decision will not be made by the Dewan Rakyat.
Lawmakers can file a motion to the Speaker's office against Ismail Abdul. This is if they deem the past MP's questions in the Dewan Rakyat seditious, according to Deputy Dewan Rakyat Speaker Alice Lau. This comes after DAP leader P. Ramazami said Ismail could be charged under the Sedition Act for his controversial written parliamentary questions. Lau told Malaysia Kini yesterday she said it's not for the parliament to decide whether Ismail can be charged under the act or not, as it's not their power to decide. She added that so far she hasn't heard of MPs submitting motions on this matter. Article 63(2) of the Federal Constitution states that lawmakers will not be liable to proceedings in court for anything said or any vote given by them in proceedings of either House of Parliament or any committee thereof. However, Article 63(4) countermands these four offences involving the Sedition Act and laws enacted under Article 10(4) that protect the national language, Bumiputra quotas, and the Malay rulers. On Wednesday, Malaysia Kini reported that Ismail had submitted a parliamentary question asking the government to justify its rationale for recognizing citizens born after independence, regardless of skin color. The Maran MP had also asked why Chinese new villages were still being maintained and whether communism still exists in those places.
Muda does not believe that the MACC has the power to probe judges under the Judges' Code of Ethics. Now the party is going to court to obtain a declaration.
Muda is seeking a court declaration that MACC has no authority to investigate Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali. The political party's counsel Lim Wei Ziet confirmed with the media that the originating summons was filed at the High Court in Kuala Lumpur 2 days ago. Nazlan was the judge who heard ex-Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak's 42 million ringgit SRC international corruption case. The first declaration that Muda seeks is that the MACC has no authority and or jurisdiction to investigate and or arrive at a finding or view that serving judges have breached the Judges' Code of Ethics and or was in a conflict of interest in presiding over a particular court case. The second declaration sought is the MACC finding that Nazlan had been in breach of the Judges' Code of Ethics 2009 and or had a conflict of interest in presiding over Najib's SRC international graft case is unlawful and or unconstitutional. Lim today said that the lawsuit was filed due to Law and Institutional Reform Minister Azalina Othman Said's letter to Najib's lawyers on March 20th. The letter stated that MACC had concluded that Nazlan, now a Court of Appeal judge, had breached the Judges' Code of Ethics and had a conflict of interest when presiding over the SRC international case. Lim said the suit is also in reference to MACC's letter on February 20th to Chief Justice Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat, which made the same conclusion and/or findings. The High Court has fixed May 15 for case management of the lawsuit.
PN looks set to wrap up seat negotiation before Hari Raya, as only 2 states have pending issues.
Pakatan Nasional is expected to complete the seat distribution for the upcoming 6 states this Sunday. This was revealed by the coalition's election director Muhammad Sanusi Noor. He said that currently only a few seats in Selangor and Negeri Sembilan are still pending. He added that the seats for Penang, Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu have been finalized. He also said that Selangor and Negeri Sembilan were given 1 week to finalize seat distribution, and the PN leadership will meet this Sunday. Sanusi explained that the seats that are still pending are not hot seats, but have yet to be decided as they have not reached an agreement. Previously, past Deputy President Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man was reported to have said that negotiations on seat distribution among the PN component parties reached 80%. He also said that the first round of negotiations had gone smoothly and the distribution of seats had been conducted by consensus involving all PN component parties.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.